This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to yet another beautiful day down here in South Africa in the Greater Kruger National Park. We are looking at, as we technically defined, a woodland savanna, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
You are live. Welcome everyone again. I'm very happy to have you all on board with us today, particularly the three wonderful schools that we've got with us today. We are happy to embark on an adventure with you. My name is Ellie, and on camera today I've got Craig, who we also call Batman, in case you were wondering. And we are more than happy to answer any of the questions that you might have this afternoon for us, so please make sure that you send them through. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys a very, very cool bird. Just on the other side over there, we're slowly getting to it. I wonder if any of you can spot it already in the middle of the frame over there. That bird over there jumping around like a toucan that's just flown away, that is a yellow-billed hornbill. So if you've seen the Lion King, that is very similar to Zazu. I think, however, is not as friendly as Zazu, and it definitely doesn't have any lion friends as far as I'm concerned, but it's one of the prettier birds that we have around here. If we manage to look over to the right, in between the bushes, there's another one. There's another one in there at the top. Yes, there we go. Hello, are you going to be a bit more friendly? Sometimes they look quite funny, don't you think? They have a bit of a look like a grumpy old man, and then they'll look very, very intently at something, and they'll be like, "Ah, what is here? Where is my food? Where can I find it?" I think it's, did you have something there? It's almost like it was eating something. Beautiful eyes, so you see they are black and white, and then a very, very big yellow beak. It uses it to go and catch as many insects as it can during the day, because that's what they eat. But I think this one, are you going to fly? 1, 2, no? Oh, maybe somebody got shy. It definitely seemed like it was about to jump and start flying away into the bush. Yep, there we go. All the way down there, let's go over to Taylor and see what big animal she's got to show us.
Welcome everybody, I've been waiting all afternoon to see you. We have found some elephants, which is, well, a very good idea that Ellie described them as big, because that's exactly what these elephants are. Well, they're the largest mammal that we have on land, aren't they? Now, my name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Sebastian, and then we've also got Senzo on board with us. You can have a look at Senzo. There's our friend Senzo. So he's filming some behind the scenes. I've got 2 cameras on me today. The pressure. But let's have a look at those elephants. Look, she's come right out of the bushes too. Hello, big girl. Now, of course, I'm so excited for all of you to see an elephant, and I'm sure you've got lots of questions for me. And the first question is from young Andrew this afternoon. You're wondering if I like being a guide and exploring. Andrew, it's my favorite thing in the whole entire world. And what I want to show you is, Sebastian, I think let's go forward. We can watch this girl crossing the road in front of us. So, Andrew, it's the best job, in my opinion, in the whole world. I don't have to sit in an office with 4 walls. This whole area is my office. And, well, I'm an employee of these things. Over here, these guys keep me having a job, but there's so many different animals out here. Look at the little babies. You see what's... Oh, hello. They are chasing warthogs. They have been chasing little birds. They are so funny. Hello, guys. Now, Tess, you're wondering what is the most dangerous animal that you can encounter. Well, it depends. I think the most dangerous animal has to be an elephant. And the reason why I'm saying this, they're my favorite animal, is because they're the only ones out here that if you made them angry enough, they would actually be able to turn this car over. They'd be able to roll it. There isn't any other animals that would be able to do that, but you've got to be so very good at reading the animal's behavior, and they won't just attack you, they won't just charge you, they will show you signs that they are comfortable, or when they're starting to get a little bit irritated, and then you can move away from them. So as long as you're able to read that animal behavior, you'll be fine. But if you're walking around, I think the most dangerous animal has to be a buffalo, or even a hippopotamus on foot is not a fun situation to get yourself in. They're not the friendliest of animals. Remember, these are completely wild. They're not in a zoo or anything. These are wild African elephants. Now there's a tiny little baby coming out. Look, it's just coming out. It's so cute, and it's trying to use its trunk. Look how it's stretching it all out. It hasn't really got control of its trunk yet. It's still got to train those muscles. Isn't that so precious? Now we're so lucky to be seeing so many elephants. They're so calm. Hello, little one. And Amber, you were wondering if male and female elephants look different from each other. They most certainly do. If they will sit still for long enough, or not sit still, just stand still for long enough, I'll be able to show you. So the front of an elephant's head, if it's a boy, it's typically quite rounded. But the one that we're looking at now looks like it's a female. You see how square the corner of her head is? It's very sharp. It's very angular. And then you can also look for the mammary glands on a female, on a girl elephant. Otherwise, the males have got a very rounded head and typically get much larger, but they're coming out over here. Hi guys, look how close we are. And they're basically just surrounding us. They're coming down from the drainage line, and they're moving through these areas. Oh, there's even a warthog. I just want to show you before it runs away, but that's what that elephant was trumpeting for, is straight through those bushes. There is a whole family of warthogs, Pumbaa, or like Pumbaa from The Lion King. And there's a couple of birds, and these little elephants are finding these guys lots and lots of fun. The warthogs are not enjoying it though. They're just being chased around. All they're trying to do is just find something to eat. But it doesn't seem like they're able to do so. The pesky elephants keep chasing them all away. Now they're coming out. See, they were hiding. Not necessarily from us, but from being trampled. There's a whole family of them. Hi guys, and look how cool that is. If you look at those warthogs, it looks like they've got big tusks coming out of the sides of their faces, but not yet. They're a little bit too young to have their tusks protruding out their faces, so that's hair, and that's to try and fool the other predators, to make them think that they're armed with big and dangerous weapons, and they might think to themselves, oh no, it's too dangerous, we can't catch a warthog, we're going to get hurt. But of course, it's just a trick. They're just fooling the other animals. But eventually they'll get big tusks that you can see. Now, Calvin, as we watch this elephant go to the toilet, you're wondering, why do elephants have tusks? Well, almost in the same sense that a warthog has tusks, but elephants, I think, they're actually teeth, but they're specially modified teeth. They don't use them for chewing like you and I use them for chewing. They've got those molars, which they will use to grind their food down, but those tusks are used more as a tool. They use them as a digging tool, so they'll stick it down into the ground like a spade, and then they also use it to cut the bark. So they'll score the trunk of a tree with their tusks, and it makes a big gash into the bark, and then they're able to pull the bark up with their trunk, and then they'll dig water. They'll use it for many, many different things. But let's reposition. Let's go get a better spot. I think if we go around that way, we're going to see these elephants and maybe the warthogs again nice and clearly. What a great afternoon. I'm so happy. What really good luck. It's really quite nice to be able to see so many different animals, but we're going to go around and I'm going to find you a better egg and see which animals they're going to be searching for.
Well, we were also looking for a very, very big thing, so we managed to find something that's also very big and of a grey color. It is a kudu. Regan, you'd like to know what season it is. So if you see all of the grass compared to the kudu that's walking there, you can see that it's all yellow. And the trees behind it, they also have a bit of yellow leaves and orange leaves. So we are actually coming out of summer and we are almost in winter now. I would say, judging by how cold it's been the last few days, we are in winter. But the funny thing about here is, I don't know if it rains in winter where you live, but over here it doesn't rain in winter at all. So it's a dry season. That's why everything, all the leaves and everything else gets much drier. So our winter here is also, it's just started now in May, and probably your summer is only just starting now, and then our winter is going to end in November, so towards Christmas, because we have, you know, pretty much Christmas for summer or summer for Christmas, the other way around. It also works. You see all these girls around here, well, we know that they are girls because you see they have no horns. So normally all the males have horns for this particular animal, but a lot of the ones that look very much like a deer, then the males will be the only ones with the horns, whereas the females are going to be, or the mummies are going to be the ones without the horns. I think this one is quite a very big one, and you can see just how pretty she is. I think she's busy cleaning herself there, or maybe there's something that's biting her. Olivia, you are wondering if there are certain animals that we see here all the time. Yes, this is one of them. This is one of the friendly animals that is often seen around here, and we see them with other species of antelope, which very much look like deers. We've got other ones that are called impala. I don't know if you can see one at the back just moving in there behind the bushes. That is also a very common one. Very pretty one. And sometimes they will all come together in a place like this, and they all start eating at the same time, so they don't eat every time the same thing. So that's why they don't mind if there are other species of animals or other species of antelope that are close to them. And lucky for us, all of them, they just eat leaves and grass. While we look at our big gray thing, let's go over to Taylor and see how her big gray thing eats.
We're just trying to find those grey things again. You wouldn't think that a big elephant could disappear into the bushes, but I'm going to show you. She's coming right this way. I want to show you also how easily she can push through the trees if she wants to. Now, it's going to be an obscured view. It's not going to be the clearest view, because that's what happens with wildlife, is that the animals do what they want and they go wherever they feel like. And she's found a very tasty bush. Now, you're probably wondering, where is she? But there she is. You can see her now, hiding from behind the guarri trees. And can you believe that something so big, and this is a big cow, so this is a mommy elephant that we're seeing now. Come on, girl, come out and say hello. Here she is. She's walking on a little pathway that was created by the animals, and she is so relaxed with us. Now, I have an idea of where they're going. I think they're going down to find some water in the riverbed. Now, as we look at this girl as she goes past, Joshua, you were wondering if they have teeth. They do indeed. So like we were just saying a moment ago, those tusks are actually teeth, but they're used differently. So they're modified teeth, but they have molars. So if you stick your finger right into your mouth, excuse me, and you feel your teeth right at the back, on the top and the bottom, those are called molars, and that's the type of teeth that the elephants have. So they're used for grinding down food. And you can imagine, with all the things that elephants like to eat, all the leaves, all the bark, all the grass, they eat fruits, they eat the roots again. I don't know if I said roots already, maybe I did, but they love roots, especially in the winter months. And then they'll grind down on all of that, but you can imagine it wears their teeth down quite quickly. So they've only got 6 sets of molars that they get for their entire life. So that brings us to our next thing. So depending on how many sets of teeth you have, that sort of determines how long you're going to live for when you're out in the bush. But let me go forward again. And Yana, you were actually wondering exactly that. How long does an elephant live for? So how's that? Great minds think alike, don't you think? I was just about to tell you, and you were thinking of exactly the same question. So with them only having 6 sets of molars that they get for their entire life, that means that they only live to about 70 years old. Not much more than that. I'm sure there's a few ancient elephants that make it past that age, but it's very, very uncommon. So if any of you want to become an elephant dentist, I think that there's a huge market for you here in Africa, and probably in Asia too, where they have the Asian elephants, or you might find a job and creating another set of teeth, because I think the elephants could live a little bit longer if they had some more teeth to go with their lives. But she's very big, isn't she? She looks like she's got quite a big bulge in her stomach, but I'm not too sure if she has got maybe a little elephant inside there. I'm just trying to find all her calves to see the different ages. And now what's really cool with elephants is that you can actually try and age an elephant just from the amount of babies that it has. Obviously this girl looks like she's been around for a long time. She's quite a large elephant. She doesn't look particularly young, so she won't have all her calves with her anymore. They'll be grown up and living in the same herd if they were the girls, if they were the female elephants, because they stay together for life. But the boys, when they get a little bit older, they then have to go out of the family groups and they live on, well, sort of by themselves. Sometimes they find some other boy elephants to live with, but normally it's on their own. So she's got a little calf. It's just feeding off to the left, and I'm trying to figure out how old it is. It doesn't look particularly old, but it's going to come through the bushes now. It will copy mom and it'll just come pushing through over here. There it is. See, it's very difficult to see, and I can just see its tusks sticking out. So I think this elephant must be around 3 years old, a little bit older. And normally a big elephant cow like this, she can have a baby elephant every 4 to 5 years. So how cool is that? And they will all stay with her. And she's taking, oh, she didn't like that. I thought she was taking that grass with her. Apparently she didn't enjoy it. Now, Molly, you're wondering, why do elephants have such big ears? It's very important in Africa for animals to be able to keep themselves nice and cool. So, this is quite interesting. You know, your mom and dad, they have a car and they take you to school every day, or the bus that you go to school in, it has an engine inside of it. And what happens is that the ears act as the radiator. Now, the radiator in the car is the part that helps cool the car down, because you can imagine there's a lot of heat being produced, and it's the same thing with an elephant. So as that elephant flaps its ears, it will open and close it. It depends on how hot it is as to how fast those ears will go, and that creates cool air. And if it opens its ears and you look behind the ears, you'll actually start to see lots and lots of veins. So like the veins that you see on your wrists and on your hands, it's got lots of those all through its ears. And it's just difficult because she's not cooperating. You have to look very quickly when she opens. And by flapping that and making the cool air, that will cool her entire body down. It's so beautiful. I'm trying to also just listen to see if I can hear where the rest of them have gone, because if they go down into the drainage line to go and drink water, I want to be able to get there and watch them do that. Now, Zachary, you're wondering, why do elephants spray mud over themselves? And I'm hoping we get to see that. That would be really nice. It's again another reason to help themselves keep cool. So their ears are one way to flap them and keep them cool, but I think the best way is to actually find a nice big mud wallow and just suck up all the mud and spray it all over your body, and it cools it down. And then what it also does is it also gets rid of all the insects that maybe, all the parasites that were feeding on her blood, and she'll have a big scratch and then scratch them off and leave them behind on a tree. But again, the ears also act as a fly swatter for that exact reason. So the flies actually annoy the elephants, even though they've got such a thick skin. You'd probably think to yourself, how on earth does that elephant feel a fly on its body? That's impossible. Taylor, you are talking absolute nonsense, but I promise you it can. Because if we get close enough to an elephant, well, we're lucky, we've got cameras so we can just zoom all the way in, but when they come walking right past you, you can actually see with your eyes how they're covered in hair, like hard bristles all over their body. So that allows them to feel all the insects moving about. You might be able to see it very carefully. There we go, you can actually see the bristles. Look at that. Elephants are hairy creatures. It's lovely. And lots of mud. Now, Jess, you're wondering if elephants go in places alone or in a family. Well, mainly in a family, especially if it's a breeding herd. So if it's got moms and their babies and the aunties and the sisters and the cousins, all the girls stay together. And like I said, the boys, they get to live in the herd, but only for a maximum of the first 20 years of their life. Normally when they get to about 16 years old, they start to get too naughty. And then mom has to say, hey, I'm going to give you one warning, and if you don't listen to me, that's it, you're out. You've got to leave home and you've got to go and live all by yourself. And the elephant tries to behave, but sometimes it doesn't work, and then they get kicked out and they go off on their own. But I want to move forward for you. I think they are going down in the drainage line, and we need to check. Let's go check. Their favorite spot is just down here and around the corner, so I'm going to go in and have a look. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to try and go into the drainage line and find all those little baby elephants. So off you go back to Ellie, and I'm sure she's got something fantastic to show you.
We are searching for many things, Taylor. I just don't know if those many things are going to come and be with us today, but let's see. You never know. Hopefully we'll be able to see many more things today, but I think we had a very good start with that big elephant. Don't you guys think so? Elephants are one of my favorites. Serena, you want to know if we're going to see leopards today? Well, I really hope we do. I came driving onto this particular area because somebody found tracks on the road this morning. So I wanted to see if maybe we got lucky with some more tracks. Maybe something else that we could go around and see where the leopard has been walking. But we haven't been able to spot anything for now that will tell us where the leopard is, because a lot of the times it's very hard, and leopards are one of the hardest ones to see because they hide so well and they don't like to be spotted all too often, so they tend to just, you know, crouch down and hide. And at this time of the day, because it's still a bit warm, it's very likely that they're still sleeping somewhere. So we're gonna try. Hopefully we'll be able to show you guys a leopard, but I mean, I also need you all to try and think with me, leopard, so that we manage to find it. Or at least a track that's going to show us in which direction we can start looking for. Iviana, you are asking if we ever get scared about being out in the wild. I suppose that when you start and you're starting to become a guide, then yes, you get scared, because especially when you have to go walking, and imagine now you're walking in places where there are lions and leopards and all sorts of different things, like the beautiful warthogs we're looking at. It can be a bit nerve-wracking because you almost think that all the animals are wanting to come to you. But if you do it a lot of the times, and the more you learn, because you have to go through a course and you have to do all sorts of training, then you become more relaxed and then you learn how to look for things. So I think the more you know, or the more you can understand the wild, the less frightened you are. So for example, right now, not frightened at all. I am very happy to be here looking at these warthogs. Alifiani, you're wondering what animals we see the most. Well, we see many different animals. This is one of the ones that we see often around, and this is a warthog, also endearingly known as Pumbaa. We tend to see them all around camp, and like we were showing earlier, the kudu, we see them often, elephants as well, impala. Lots of different species of animals, but of course the cats, those are the ones that are a bit harder to see. And nowadays it seems also we have to work a bit harder to try and find buffalo, because I think the buffalo know that the lions are around, and that's why they haven't come to this area too much. Avalon, you're wondering what's the difference between the tusk of a warthog and then the tusk of an elephant. That is a very good question. So they are pretty much the same in terms of structure and how they're built. So a tusk is very similar to a tooth. Just the one for the elephants is obviously a lot bigger, and they use it for a lot more things than perhaps maybe what a warthog would do, because they use it to break the branches and then, you know, just fight with each other, or sometimes they even use it to put their trunk when they get tired of taking their trunk around. And the warthogs use it a lot of the times for defense. It seems like Taylor and I keep swapping places, but we keep seeing all the gray things. So let's see what other gray thing, or if it's perhaps the same one that she's looking at.
How amazing is this? Look how close I am. We're surrounded by elephants. Now, young lady, behave. You don't have to do this. It's a young female elephant just here, and she's very cheeky, but the little baby, of course, wants to come and play. I don't really know where to look anymore. It's going on its knees. Hey, get up off your little knees there. This is so cool to be sitting so close to elephants. Now, they were quite happy to come to us, so they're not angry with us at all. They're very, very happy. This is amazing. Hello. And the little one is desperately trying to use its trunk. Now, Narina, you're wondering if elephants are smart. They most certainly are. I'm just watching. There's a whole lot of elephants coming around here. So they're all crossing in front of us now. But how great is this? That they're all walking past. Good afternoon, madam. Thank you very much for accommodating us today in your herd. I have to just say thank you to them, otherwise they get a little bit upset, you know. It's very important to have manners. You know, when you go to your parents' friend's house, or you go to your friend's house, you have to greet everybody in the family. You have to do exactly the same thing with the animals, and especially the elephants. And the arena, for exactly that reason, is because they are so intelligent, they can understand tone. So, hello girl. No, but don't come too close. You don't have to come and sit on top of my car. You can just be a little bit relaxed. Are you doing a dance now for everyone? No, you don't have to do a dance. I'm watching these elephants. They don't mind us at all. They're very relaxed. But what is happening is that, can I just show everybody this naughty bull that's here, that this big elephant behind our car is watching? There's a young elephant bull here. Now, he's probably in the process of being kicked out of the herd. Remember how I was telling you about this? And he's hiding in the bushes now because he knows that there's a big matriarch that's watching him and saying to him basically, you keep away. You are going to cause too much trouble here with my family and all these little ones, and we don't want you here. So that's a bit of a problem. See that? Look at his behavior. He's being very cheeky. Now, Amelia, you're wondering what animals hunt elephants. I don't know where to look because I'm surrounded, but I do need to just keep an eye out on this girl, and I want to watch him. So I'm actually going to position myself like this for the moment. So in this area, there are not too many things that will hunt an elephant. I think the biggest threat to elephants are actually humans, unfortunately, because people want to kill these beautiful creatures for their tusks. But luckily, in the Sabi Sand, in the Greater Kruger National Park, the poaching problem is not too, it's getting better for the elephants. But in the rest of Africa, unfortunately, it's not great. And then you also get lions. In Zimbabwe, you get, of course, also lots of different types of lions that will hunt elephants. I just need to quickly go onto the radio because Tom is looking for me. Tom, confirm you're looking for me. Just quickly getting an update on the Game Drive radio. Just copy, thank you, that's very nice. I've got a very nice herd of elephants here, Mamba Junction with the Mulwati. If you want to come and join me, it's just myself. I'm not sure. I haven't gone to look for them, unfortunately. I'm going to go there in the next 20 minutes or so. There we go. Sorry, I just obviously had to have a quick chat because it's not just me on safari. There's lots of other people out here on safari. But how cool is this, that we're sitting here surrounded by these beautiful animals and my favorite animals. But I just want to have a conversation with this elephant cow behind us, and just to give her an idea that we're not happy with this bull. But I'm going to send you across to Brent now, who's in the Mara looking at Wildebeest.
Well, welcome to the very noisy GNU-filled Masai Mara in Kenya. You're on your very own live safari. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Dangerous Dave Eastor. Oh, sorry, Dave nearly knocked my monitor away. On camera with us, and it's great to have you here. And you can just hear this. Oh, look at that. There we go. And it's all the males looking for girlfriends or chasing girlfriends around. Incoming. Now, of course, guys, it is just a boy looking for a girlfriend, but they have many girlfriends, Wildebeest. Sarah is wondering, do the animals fight often? Well, they do, especially the boys. The boys are always fighting so they can have more girlfriends. But sometimes you might get two different species that chase each other. And it looks like we might get a little bit of that now. Sometimes young elephant bulls, here we go, like to chase other animals, and that's just for fun. One to the right, that guy, yeah. He looks like he's got a little bit of mischief in his ears. Now, the elephants don't like when the wildebeest are around. They're noisy, they eat all the grass. So Ellies will quite often at this time of the year be moving towards the hills where they can get away from the wildebeest. So I can't really hear, sorry, I'm having a struggle hearing there, but I heard the Kesna, that's what I was looking for. Kesna would like to know, do we know everything about animals? Kesna, I wish. I know a little bit about a lot, and one of the things I love about what we do is I get to learn something new every day. I don't think you can ever, oh, yes, boys look like they were about to fight. I don't think you can ever know everything about the animals because I don't think we completely understand them yet, and they can prove you wrong every day. So what that boy is doing now, he's putting mud on his face to make himself look more scary so no one wants to fight with him. So it's like war paint for a wildebeest. Kaylee would like to know how many animals live in Kenya. A lot, Kaylee. So these particular animals move in and out. This isn't the main wildebeest migration. This is part of the local wildebeest migration. So there's already about 20,000 of them. But there's a whole bunch of wildebeest coming to visit from Tanzania. There's about 1.6 million of them coming to visit, but there are lots and lots of animals in Kenya, and if I would be lying if I had to guess an exact number to you. But lots of elephants, lots of wildebeest, lots of zebra, lots of gazelle, lots of lions. Now, our elephant is not too playful. It didn't chase the wildebeest, but it sounds like Taylor's got some who are full of joy.
Brent, you would absolutely love the sighting, and I'm sure you are missing the elephants of the Sabi Sand because they are amazing. They've just got the coolest personalities in the whole world. And we had one elephant doing a dance for us. She was kicking sand at us. That same naughty one that was coming very close to the car, she was doing the same. Oh, look at the little baby elephant coming on the right. See, it's very carefully trying to go down that hill without falling. Now, it hasn't tested its 4x4 out very well. It will get there, though. It's so cute. Now, as you look at these elephants of different sizes, Olivia, you were asking at what age do elephants stop growing? Olivia, never. They keep getting bigger and bigger, but that's their tusks that keep growing. So an elephant's tusk never stops growing. But their bodies, I suppose, eventually, when they get older, when they get to about, I would say for a female elephant, when she's at about 30 years old, she's probably at her largest, maybe 35. And an elephant bull, also in his early 40s, he becomes in the prime of his life. And here comes this naughty bull. I think it's the naughty bull that's about to take a step down on the slope. No, he's decided he's going to go the other way, and that's very clever. Should we go up a bit further, Seb? Now, Taylor, you're wondering, and what a great name, might I add, you're wondering, have I ever had a away from a dangerous animal. Now, it's very important that you don't run away from these animals, because running means, and especially if it's a predator, only its food runs away from it. So for something like an elephant and all the other animals, it's important that you stand your ground. However, yes, to the answer that is, I have run away from an animal. I've run away from a buffalo before, because this buffalo was so close to me. He surprised me from behind a bush, and I thought, oh my goodness, he's going to trample me. And I had to make a decision. He was charging me, a full charge. It wasn't a mock charge. He wasn't just pretending and trying to scare me. There were no trees to climb up, and so I made the decision to run into the tent. We have this really cool tent that sometimes we do shows from. It's got all sorts of like skulls and things. Look at these two. They're greeting each other. They're saying, hello, little ones. Hello, brother. Hello, sister or cousin. Something along those lines. But I did run, and it was very scary. Here's this naughty bull. Look at him. Now watch this cow. She's going to reprimand him. She's not happy with him already. Look at this. See? She's flapping her ears. She's opening them. This bull should not be here. See that head shake? That's saying, leave me alone. I'm warning you. And what he's doing is that he's just coming to bother the whole herd. But she's been watching him the whole time. That was also the cow that I was keeping my eye out on, because I didn't want her to retaliate towards me. But she didn't. I think she is on my side, and she doesn't want any nonsense from this bull. Now, Eduardo, you're wondering why the elephants wag their tails? Almost just the same reason as to one of the reasons why they flap their ears, is that they're getting rid of the insects. So earlier we were talking about how a fly can sit on the back of an elephant quite happily. Well, the same thing it can happen. They bite the bottoms on the backs all over the elephant. The elephant will use his tail to try and swat those flies away. This elephant bull is coming to cause trouble with us. Have you spotted him yet, Sebastian? He's creeping into the corner of your eye there. Now we must watch him, not because I'm scared of him, because I feel like I'm probably going to have to shout at this elephant. And you're probably thinking, now Taylor, you're crazy if you think that you're going to shout at an elephant. He's naughty. Look at him. You behave, mister. You stop your nonsense. I won't shout at there. I won't shout at the other elephants if they're behaving nicely, but this elephant bull will have to be reprimanded. Now, Mackenzie, you were wondering what makes an elephant mad. Many different things, I suppose. Like you often hear the little ones screaming at the top of their lungs, and you think, oh, something's wrong, something's happened, they hurt. It's because mom says, no, you can't have any milk, I'm not going to stand still for you. And then they throw a tantrum. And they start screaming and crying. And then, of course, what angers the big elephant cows is young elephant bulls like this that come through the herd and start causing trouble and pushing the little ones around and pushing all the cows around. You see? Look how he is. He's a big bully. That's all he is. He's not very nice. But we're going to go around and see if we can catch these elephants drinking water. Ellie, however, has found her first giant of the afternoon.
And what a big giant boy he is. We just came across him and he was hiding behind the trees, and now he seems like he's hiding his face in between the trees. So it's fine, we can just look at him from here and see what he gets up to. I think he's just pretending he's invisible, and that if he doesn't see us, then we're not really here. Becca, you're wondering if it's more common to see elephants or birds. Well, it depends. Sometimes depends on what bird you want to see. Some birds are very, very difficult to see, especially very rare ones. But I think it just altogether in this drive, I've seen more elephants than more birds than what I've seen elephants. And I think we have managed to find another big giant that's hiding just behind the bushes too. Alright, Alrighty, we're gonna carry on looking at this pretty elephant while our friend Taylor is moving around. It's funny, I think we just ended up coming onto the same place where the elephants are. There's a waterhole not too far from here, so I'm sure that's where they're all going. Hopefully that's where this boy will be going. Hello, thank you for coming out of the bushes and going back in there. Natalie, you're wondering what weather elephants like. Well, I've seen them enjoy hot weather because then they get into the water and then they go in there and they seem to really like it. And then I have seen them also enjoy very cold weather, and they go and they just seem to move a bit more. Hello, we've got a tail over there. Well, where are you going?
Well, they're going to the same spot that they were digging yesterday.
Okay, so are you...
With them, and should I go the other side?
Well, I thought you were gonna go that side, that's why I came this side.
They've come all the way from Pan. That's where I was going. Okay, well, you stay with them, but if you go into the Mulwati and you come up, there's really cool, they're all digging for water.
Okay, then we'll go around, thanks. So you see, it does happen sometimes that when we drive around and we bump into each other. So we come across, and I think Taylor and I, we were looking for different things this afternoon, and she got distracted, as we do, because you get very excited once you start finding different things. So she carried on following the elephants, and funny enough, we had some tracks for some buffalo, and that's what we were looking for. So we were looking at the buffalo's tracks and then going all the way, but it seems like at one point the elephants and the buffalo and the tailor met all together. Isn't that quite funny? All of them around. Amia, you're wondering if elephants lose their teeth. Yes, they do. Actually, more often than humans. So the teeth of the elephants are a bit different from the ones that we have. So if you've seen the tusks, those ones that come out of the sides of the trunk, those are actually teeth that they use. They just come out of their mouth. Funny, isn't it? And they only have 2 pairs of those, like us humans we do. So they will have the milk tusk that they're going to lose when they're about a year old. Looks like this one is missing one altogether. They normally have 2. And on their second, roughly when they're about 2 years old, then they'll get their permanent set of tusks. And those teeth are going to carry on growing throughout the animal's eyes, through the animal's life. And inside of their mouth, they've got only molars, so they don't have front teeth like what we do. They've only got the ones at the back, and they have 6 different pairs that they change, so they can change teeth up to 6 times during their life. Isn't that a lot? Imagine having, losing the same tooth 6 times. That's quite a long time. Hello, pretty girls. Kaylee, you're wondering if elephants are shy around humans. I would say yes. Normally, a lot of these wild animals, they prefer not to be too close to humans, although some of them seem to be quite happy to enjoy the presence of human settlements or human houses or where we live. So they'll come around and they'll know that we're there, and they'll come and be curious about it, especially if it's the dry season and we have a lot of water or a pool, and then they come around and see it. But in general, a lot of these wild animals that we see, they just prefer to stay at a certain distance from us. They're not our friends, and they don't want to be our friends. and they just move around and do their thing. But if they come across humans, like this one's around here, well, it's not the first time that they've seen one. So they're happy to let us be around them. And look, it's almost very, very close to us. Eviana, you're wondering why they hide in the bushes and the trees. Well, I don't think they're hiding all too much from us precisely, but I think they're just looking for leaves that they want to eat, the leaves that are a bit tastier, and sometimes the ones that are tastier are not the ones that are right in front of the road. So I think you see this one, he's just moved a whole log and he's moving everything to get to the grass that it wants to eat. So it doesn't want to eat exactly what is there, but everything that's good and yummy, it's something that he's got to try and get his trunk in between. But sometimes if they do go behind bushes and trees, especially when they're little, it's just a way of feeling safe. You know, imagine if you were faced with something that you're not too sure of, you go behind something just to feel a bit safer. Pretty elephant. It's been a pleasure having you guys here, but I'm going to say goodbye for now, and before I do that, then I'm going to send you across to Taylor, who also wants to say goodbye to all of you, and thank you for coming along.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. Now, as you know, we are searching for lions. Is that where you went in? Right. Senzo has said it was in this area, so we're going to go in here now. Thank you, Senzo. We're obviously going to try and relocate on Nkahuma Pride and then decide from here, well, hopefully if we find them, if they haven't moved too far, how on earth we're going to run this sighting. There's obviously quite interesting, of course. I had a look at those photos. I think that cub is a lot younger. I don't think it's more than about 3 weeks old. It's very little. And it is quite early to introduce it to the rest of the pride, but perhaps the whole pride was just moving through this area and Mom came out to say hello. She could go back and start denning with it again. But lion cubs, you must remember, they're not quite as sensitive and particular like leopard cubs are. They actually get used to the vehicles a lot quicker, but we do want to be sensitive about it, and we just want to check if it's an open area or if it's if it's very thick. Is that an African fish eagle? I don't think you're going to see it because it's directly above us. Oh, there we go. Nicely done. That is an African fish eagle flying overhead. How cool is that? I was just saying the other day how we never see them soaring up in the sky other than at Chitwa Dam. But that's fantastic. That's really cool. It's beautiful too. Now I wonder what it's looking at from above. There's the aerial, of course, that you can see. Sebastian, that's amazing that you're actually being able to do that. I didn't know those cameras could point. So we're just watching it fly in the distance. Maybe it's seen the lions. But no, they're not quite like the vultures and the tawny eagles. But they do. I have seen many times African fish eagles scavenging. Now, if you have just joined us, of course, welcome. And then this is a live and interactive safari. So you can hashtag Safari Live with all of your questions on Twitter. And we'll get them a bit later. Senzo, how far in did you go? Did you go quite far? You didn't go far. So that means that these lions must have moved. Okie dokie, what we're going to do is we're going to keep driving around here. We're going to do so very carefully. The grass is long. Brent has got a bird, so before it flies away, let's go to Kenya.
Well, we've got one of the most beautiful of our grassland birds here, and definite new species for everyone's Kenya bird list. It is the northern white-bellied Bustard or Korhaan. Isn't he pretty? Now this is the male. The female's just disappeared into the bushes behind him. She's a little bit more drab. She's a little bit more. Okay, no, you are back. Welcome.
Sorry about that. The gremlins obviously in Kenya don't like the white-bellied bustards. How rude. That would have been a new bird for some of you, I'm sure. Sorry, gentlemen, please watch this bush willow. Oh. And Wendy the Titanic. It's just struggling to just fit through the gaps. Let's try this again. No. Okay, we're not going here then. We'll go the other way around. We're trying to find the lion still. Sorry. And the little bush willow, like it's not a knobthorn. But I don't know where. Sorry, Senzo, you're going to have to help me look. I cannot see now with you sitting there. You've blocked my blind spot. No, as long as you're alright. I don't really know where these lions have gone at all because it's quite in the thicket here. So we'll just do a little bit of a drive around and then we'll go back onto the roads to see if we can't perhaps find them. But I'm going to send you across now to Ellie, who has still got that gorgeous herd of elephants.
Well, we do have this gorgeous herd of elephants still with us. We've got this young boy who's a bit sleepy, eating all of the grass around us. And he was quite funny earlier on. We're actually getting a bit of the dust that he's lifting from all the grass that he's shaking. So he's doing that because everything's quite dusty at the moment, very dry, so he doesn't want to eat dust. He just wants to eat the grass. It's also a good way of preserving their teeth. They only got a specific number or sets of teeth that they get throughout their lives. So they've got to look after them. Otherwise, they grind down a lot quicker. Probably, or it is one of the reasons why, for example, elephants that live in this particular areas where we have wonderful summers when the grass is lush and soft, why some of the ones in areas like the desert, they live for shorter periods of time. Unfortunately, they've got to eat things that are a lot drier. They eat a lot more bark of the trees or dead wood, so their teeth tend to wear down quicker, and then their lifespan because of that is also not as long. I think this youngster, however, is still at the beginning of his life and not too much to worry about, although he's only got one tusk, only the right hand tusk, doesn't have the left one, and a lot of the times that's pretty much genetic. I don't think he ever had another tusk. Jacob, you're 3 years old and you want to know if the skin is very hard. The answer is yes, the skin is indeed very, very hard. They need it because if you see all the branches and everything that he's eating, there are a lot of thorns around, and he's just got to be careful and protect his skin. So as he moves around, he doesn't want to hurt himself. So one of the good things to not hurt himself is have very, very thick skin that are pretty much the clothes that he never takes off, that are going to protect him from everything. So very thin, and you see all the wrinkles in his body, all helping him live around here. Berlin, you'd like to know how tall an elephant can be. Well, they can be up to 3.5 meters tall, the particularly bigger ones. And it depends on many things. Sometimes it's genetics. I think this guy wants to pass. Sorry, boy. I'm going to make this easier for you because I think you want to carry on with your day and you're a bit scared because we're close to you. There we go. I think we're gonna leave this guy over here. He'd been eyeing us for a little while that he wanted to go through, but because it's so thick, I think he was just building up the courage to go across. So he's been quite pleasant. I'm not going to bother him any longer because we are very happy that he had a good experience and we had a good experience. But fear not, we have more Ellies down the road. I think maybe some of them might just even be making their way towards twin dams or to the drainage lines like Taylor mentioned earlier, just to go and dig for some water. But you see we've got a tiny one here that he is maybe about a meter long. Well, long, tall, not too long. It's just maybe not feeding in the best area for us to look at it, but very pretty youngster. And I think also he must be one of the ones for the half-trunked elephant, because the mother that's around, or that we saw earlier, she seemed to be missing a bit, or she seemed to be missing the tip of her trunk, but I'll reconfirm that when we see them later. There's the tongue of the elephant again. So seeing we were talking about teeth, see that they've got no frontal teeth, no incisors whatsoever, just a little tongue. And then all of the all of the molars at the back. So you see, when he breaks those branches up, then it's almost like he puts them all the way at the back of the mouth. That's where the teeth are, and that's what he's going to be using to grind them down. Pretty. VR Viking, you're wondering if the newer teeth are going to be stronger than the next ones. Well, I suppose yes. So it's just like us, we get our milk teeth that eventually become wobbly and then we don't use after a little while. It's the same for them. After their teeth have been worn down and a particular set is no longer useful because they're not able to grind the food as much as they were earlier on, or a lot of stuff, it's just going in the same way that they broke it from the branch of the trees, because they cannot break it down into smaller pieces, and the newer ones are going to come and they're going to have more ridges, and it's just going to be better for the elephant all throughout. And obviously as they start growing, well, the teeth are going to get bigger. And you know, one of the elephant molars is very big. I mean, some of them in one of the bigger animals is maybe about 15 centimeters long, that whole thing. Very big. So there are some tusks, well, not some tusks, some elephant teeth sets. Especially there's a very nice elephant museum in the Kruger National Park, and if you see the sets and the molars over there, so they will have just one here and one here and one here and one here, and then obviously the tusks going down. But this one's around here, they go pretty much from the back of the mouth until, I would say, pretty much around here. That's why we see no teeth in the front. And then, well, obviously, of course, the tusk. But the tusks, they don't use them to grind down the tree. They only use them to, when they're trying to break branches to get to the trees or the grass and so on. And, I mean, just one molar that they've got in the lower part is just one whole piece. And it can be up to this big. So, I mean, it's bigger than my face. So it can be quite big, and it'll have maybe about, I would say, this thick, roughly, and they'll have different ridges inside, and then that's what they're gonna be using. And then as their teeth start wearing down, then the new pair of teeth is gonna come from the back, and then it's gonna start pushing the teeth out of the mouth, or you know, as they start wearing down, then they're gonna start coming out. So it's a bit different from us, because normally your teeth come from the bottom and then they push the next one out and off they go. But in the case of an elephant, it's almost like, well, I had my wisdom teeth that were quite unruly, and then were also, maybe I was an elephant in a previous life, going like this and then just pushing everything else the wrong way around. So it's not painful for them. It doesn't hurt when this happens. Like, it's probably not painful for us sometimes if your tooth is pretty much dead and it just falls off on its own. But they do get cavities every now and again, and of course that does bother them, because they can get infections and, you know, all sorts of problems later on. He's doing a stunning job at hiding in between the bushes. Amy, you're wondering at what age they start getting their tusk. Well, when they're about a year and a half, that's when they start getting their milk teeth, or their milk tusks, let's put it that way. And those ones then fall off, and when they're about maybe 2 to 3, they start growing their permanent set, and that's the one that they're gonna have to look after, because that's the one that they're gonna have for the rest of their lives. And the size of the tusks, a lot of the times it's genetic. So bigger animals that come from, or offspring from, elephants that have very big tusks, they very likely will have bigger tusks. I think this female, I can't remember now if she had both her tusks. I believe she did. Hey, Craig, the one that was there earlier on. I can't remember. I think she did. Yeah. If it is her, I think she's got both her tusks. But the youngster that we saw earlier on, if it's part of the same herd, then he only had one. And I don't think it fell off or that it, it just got deformed or anything. I think he was just always meant to have only one. And there's quite an interesting study that was done quite a while ago that suggests that we are seeing more elephants without tusks nowadays because of the poaching pressure that some of these great tuskers were put under in the 1980s when there was a very horrible spike in poaching for elephants for ivory. And a lot of the times, animals with bigger tusks are the ones that do get to mate a bit more. They're a bit more intimidating, stronger, and they can ward off some of the other elephants, or at least that's what the study suggested. But because they were taken pretty much out of the population so massively and so drastically, it gave the chance for other males with smaller tusks to reproduce a lot more. I'm not too sure if the theory has been disproven, but I know that was a general consensus, at least until a few years back, in terms of why the sudden spike in elephants without tusk, when back in the day all of the descriptions from all the explorers just describe these massive elephants with massive tusks all around. Could be a reason why, although I think maybe it'll be a bit too quick for them. We will carry on in our search for buffalo, see if perhaps we see some more down the road, but let's go to Taylor and see if she's had any luck in her hunt for a tiny lion.
Unfortunately, we haven't had any luck at all. We're still searching. I've just driven in Yala Road South very, very, very slowly. Just triple checking, making sure I haven't missed any tracks. But I haven't seen them just yet. So that says to me that they're possibly still in this block somewhere. But that entire herd of elephants that you saw with me earlier, and then now you were watching with Ali, did come through here. So they could have moved, they could have been chased, and there were 3 more elephants still on their way. They were just on Central, but she was not very happy. She trumpeted at me. She looked like she wanted to charge me, so I obviously moved straight out of the area and left her alone. So I'm not sure, but we're going to give this road another bash again. We're going to go up Vulture's Nest and just triple check to make sure. And then you know what, if we can't find them in here, I might give up, just purely because maybe they don't want to be seen. Maybe they need a break. But we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. I don't want to go driving in this long grass and then scaring the lions. That little cub can move around, but it's not able to move as quickly as the older cubs. So I don't want to cause any unnecessary stress to these animals. But also, I'm most certainly not going in on foot and tracking lions today or for the next few weeks until that little one can definitely move around properly on its own, because you really are just asking for a lot of trouble intentionally going in and tracking animals that have got very young cubs. You could find yourself in a very sticky situation with Mom. She might not be too happy about that, so we're going to not get off of the car at all today. But we'll just keep looking around here. But I don't know, I'm a little bit confused because it's not a particularly big block, but I suppose with all this long and lots of vegetation around at the moment, it is proving quite difficult to find very simple things that are just laying off the road and in the grass. And lions don't often, well, our lions, the Nguma Pride in particular, doesn't necessarily even react to a car approaching them. Or you could drive right in, they might not even lift their heads up, and you drive straight past them. That could definitely happen. It may have already happened today. So we'll just triple check though. There's no harm in just continuously driving around searching. Now here's a question that we actually get asked quite often, and it always makes me giggle, and it's from Vicky, and you're wondering, how do I remember all that's a hole that I found. I've been looking for it all day. And the question was, sorry, I completely drove off of the road then and went into a hole. Was how do I remember all the names of the road? It's not actually that hard, I suppose. It's just like learning the names of your roads around your suburbs, except we don't have any street signs. We just have to remember what the road looks like, certain types of vegetation, big landmarks such as termite mounds or big, distinctive trees, things like that. Otherwise, it's not too bad. Like I always say, the first game reserve you start working on is probably the hardest one. And then it gets much easier after that. And to be honest, a lot of the roads on here on Djuma are not unfamiliar to me. I've worked on many other reserves that have got very similar names, or actually some of them the exact same names for the roads. There's always this is the first area I've worked at where there isn't a zebra plains. Normally there's a zebra open or a zebra plains, something along those lines. What's another one? There's always a pangolin track. I've worked on many properties with a pangolin track road. And we've got one here. And well, the list is actually endless. It goes on and on and on. But here's this. This is where they were. Let me go in one more, because I thought there was a shrub that I thought maybe they could all be lying underneath. Let's go into 4x4. Always nice to just off-road, and when you do off-road, going into 4x4, because you drive a lot slower and you've got so much more power, you don't have to rev the engine unnecessarily. You can go in quite quietly as well. Just check underneath some of these wattles, because there's long grass surrounding them, and on a warm day like today, those lions could have quite easily just tucked themselves underneath it, and that would make it quite difficult for us to spot them. Maybe we must go further in that way. Let's try. We can only try. They were definitely lying here. You can see just in the middle, in front of the car, the grass is quite flat. Over here, you see that? It looks like someone has basically like mowed the lawn, but it's not. That's from lions laying down here, or any animal can cause that. Buffaloes, even elephants just walking, trampling the grass through an area like this, it would turn out like that. So that's where they were resting. And the other thing that's going to be quite difficult is normally first thing in the morning you can actually see where an animal has walked. Because of the dew and it makes the grass heavier, when the animals walk over it, they flatten it. But to try and figure out where these lions have gone sort of so late in the day is quite difficult. I mean, they could have been laying around there. We were also driving there, so I think we've contributed to some of this grass that is now flattened. Let's just check slightly further in here. What's wrong? Are you alright? Did you see something? Let's check. Sebastian thought he saw something. Which back?
I mean...
Oh, do you want me to go? Right, let's do this. Just looking.
I think it was shadows.
Just shadows.
Sorry.
That's okay. Sorry, Megs, can I have that question again? I was just quickly listening to Sebastian. No, that's wonderful. It's a lovely comment that's just come through from Peyton, and you've said that you'd love to see... What's that? You'd love to see the lions again. Me too. I would most certainly love to see the lions. You said you were spoilt on the sunrise safari. You were. I've got a tree. I've gone fishing and I've caught myself a tree of some sort. Let's go around that. We don't want to be driving over that. One's got some nasty spines, but we'll drive over the others. Let's just check. I thought I saw something up ahead, but it wasn't. I think it's dung, or maybe just old leaves that change of colour. Where are you, lions? We're sure they're here somewhere. We just have to sort of bob and weave, and we just got to take it very easy. That's the most important thing. Yeah, I think that they may have been lying in there too, so possibly we're getting hotter. Alright, let's go through. We would have seen all the tracks coming out. It was the entire Nkuhuma Pride, so they couldn't have just moved through an area and not left any footprints behind them. That's why I keep thinking that they're here somewhere. There's a big termite mound. This would be a good spot to hide away and rest. I know the old Nkuhuma cubs would love this, and I think there's something living in here. Look at that big hole. Look at that massive hole. So something will be living in there, whether it's warthogs, maybe an aardvark, a porcupine would live in something like that. Hyenas could be using it as a possible den site. It's a beautiful termite mound with a beautiful tree above it. Looks like one of the boerby and the weeping Oh my goodness, what is wrong with me? I can't remember the common name, but I can remember the Latin name. Anyways, Scotia brachypatella, but I can't remember the common name. Weeping birdbean, I think it is. Now, Amy, you've said... no, I can't remember. I don't know what's wrong with me now. I've gone completely blank. That was horrendous. I need to start concentrating now. Oh, yes. Is Amber Eyes her actual name? Yes, well, it's sort of a name that's been given to her, and because of it's just descriptive. It's because her eyes are that color. And it's sort of stuck. And so, yes, I suppose it is a name. But we typically don't name the lionesses. It's normally just the boys that we name. Are we going to get stuck? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. We're right here, and Nyala Road South is not far. Climb, Wendy. Whee! Up and over we go. Yeah, I don't know where these lions are. I think they're resting in here somewhere. It's very tough. It's very thick. And we're going to have to get out of here. I don't know. I think we're going to have to say that the lions outsmarted us today. Like I said, I don't want to cause too much stress for these animals. There is a tiny little cub around now, and I'm concentrating on off-roading, so I do apologize if I don't look at you. Now, my dear friend Tesla, who is only 6 years old, in case some of you haven't heard any of Tesla's questions, they're wonderful. And you were wondering, whoa! Tesla, did you see that? I almost got whacked in the face by a stick. Outrageous. We've got to go through these bushes now. You guys ready to do this? Go through here. Let's go exploring. So Tesla, sorry, your question is, as we're off-roading, could I be driving over snakes? Probably not. And the reason why I'm not worried about driving over a snake is because they feel sort of vibrations. So they will feel us coming from a long time away. And they will probably move. Now we're going through the bushes. Look how cool this is. Oh, don't rip my jacket, tree. Please don't. We go through all the trees here. Whee! Under. Got me. Senzel's using his feet. I've never seen someone use their feet to kick the branches out of the way. That was an interesting tactic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and find our way out of the sticky spot and see if we can find something else. I think we're going to leave the lions now. But it seems as though Ellie, I think she's still sitting with her elephants. Let's go see how they're doing.
Well, we have decided to carry on from where the elephants were, and we're gonna see if maybe we can find them again inside of the Molowati. Whoop! There was a hole. Sorry, Craig, are you still there? And just see if maybe we can see them from down there. There's a good chance that they're digging for water, so I would really like to see that. But we'll see. Whoop. Whoop. Let's see. Want to see what's happening around this area. Let's see if there's anything around the dam or perhaps on the other side of the dam wall. And then if not, then we can make our way into the Molowati, see if perhaps we can find them again in there, because I'm sure it'll be quite a beautiful thing to see them there. Tesla, you're 6 years old and you want to know, when do baby elephants stop drinking milk from their mothers? They normally stop when they are about 4 years old, so for quite a few years, and pretty much one of the only reasons why they stop drinking milk from their mothers is because the next little one comes along and then the mother just decides that there's only enough milk for one. And they've got to learn. But they start eating grass when they're about, or grass and leaves and fruits and everything else, when they're about maybe 3 months old. That's when they will start. But it takes them about a year to learn how to use their trunk. Imagine how hard it is with this thing that moves around like that. So it's not easy for them. I think maybe I just drove on top of a log. Maddie, you're wondering how long an elephant trunk can reach up to be. Well, I would say maybe about 2.5 meters, maybe 3, because a lot of the times the actual length that they have, they can stretch, or what do you call it? Reduce the size of their trunk. So a lot of the times I don't think we even see them with their trunks fully unstretched, let's put it that way. But very, very big. Obviously, the bigger the animal, the bigger the trunk, and it is a very strong muscle. It depends on different research that's been done, but apparently they can have, depending how you consider this, anything between 15,000 to 100,000 different muscles in their trunk. So that's quite amazing. I mean, imagine, they can do pretty much anything with their trunks. They can move it around in circles and then twist it around and then stretch it all the way back and then onto the sides. So lots of, comes in quite handy, the trunk for the elephants. And then of course the tip of the trunk is just a fusion, or the whole trunk rather, it's a fusion between the upper lip and the nose. So it's pretty much having these two things stuck together, and the tip is 2 fingers. So they've got 2 fingers that they use like this. But sometimes if things happen to elephants and they don't have the tip of their trunk, they can still survive. We're just gonna go down here, see if maybe we can find some more Ellies. They can still survive. There's a female that we were looking at a few moments ago that seemed to be missing the tip of her trunk, and she was doing just fine. I mean, she's even got little ones and she's teaching them how to survive and what to eat and what not to eat. So I think if they, obviously they would prefer to have it, but if not, then a lot of the times they learn how to work their way around it. Isn't this stunning afternoon? We're gonna search for the elephants in the Molawati, but while we do that, because it might take us a little bit, let's go to Taylor, who can update us on how her lion search is going. Alright, seems like maybe Taylor has to ward off a few gremlins before she manages to give us an update, so that's fine. I'm sure she's fighting them very, very hard, because we don't really like the gremlins. But lucky for us, you guys are still on the vehicle with us, so we would love for you to carry on. This is one of my favorite things about Djuma, this beautiful area here. Adele, you're wondering which animal I think has got the best parental instinct. My goodness, that is a very tough question. I'm not sure. I would say elephants are great. I mean, they look after their tiny ones with such care and almost respect and concern. And I don't know, between elephants, lions, leopards, hyenas, they all tend to look after their youngster, and rhinos, of course. Oh my goodness, who am I forgetting? They've got great parental instincts. I mean, all of the females have to do quite a good job to be able to raise their youngsters. I don't think any of them want to particularly fail at the task of being a mother. But even in between animals of the same species, there are certain individuals that are sometimes even better than the average to raising cubs. I mean, a very good example is our very famous Karula, which was is a female leopard that we used to see around here. We haven't seen her for quite a while, so we're not too sure what's happened with her, but she had a success rate of raising cubs that was something quite special and outstanding for a leopard. On the other hand, I have seen some lion prides be terrible at raising cubs, and then you'll see them give birth and they'll have cub after cub after cub, and those poor cubs just don't manage to reach adulthood. So I think you've got to give them a bit of credit for individuals. I think maybe Karula is the leopard that I know of with the best parental skills. It seems like the Nkuhuma lions are doing a very good job at raising their cubs, and a lot of the times, or some of the rhinos that I have known, have also been very good at raising their youngsters. I don't know. I would think maybe I would lean more into elephants, but it's a very tough question. I don't know. I'm not too sure which one has got the best rate, because a lot of the times if it were up to them, all of the cubs would survive. But then we have so many environmental factors and things that don't depend on the actual mother that allow this creature or the youngsters to survive. So I don't know. I think I'm not too particularly phased with buffalo. But I don't know. Maybe we should this question how she maybe she'll have a view.
A point of view about what exactly? I'm not sure what we're talking about, but I have a point of view about most things, if you haven't noticed. But about parental instincts. Yes. Okay, yes, of course I have that. I agree with you 100%, Ali. I think Karula is probably one of the best mothers I've had the privilege of meeting in the animal kingdom. Elephants, I think, are phenomenal mothers too. Hippos are pretty good. And then, of course, as you said, the Nkuhuma lionesses are really, really good at looking after their youngsters too. They are very, very good. Now, there's not much here. Do you know what I want to show you is this babbler, actually. Sorry, Sebastian, before you even get to the hippo, before it flies away. Because they are really cool little birds. And the arrow-marked babbler, just a little bit to the right, there we go. On it. And it's all on its own, which is unusual. Where's your friends? And they're beautiful birds. They're such striking birds with that bright orange eye, and then of course the sort of white tips that they have on the edge of their feathers. They're very pretty. But like I said, I'm concerned. Normally they're gregarious and they live in groups. Oh, it's still there. There it is, just sitting. I thought it actually flew into the bushes. And there it is, just sitting. It didn't actually go anywhere. Are you on your own? Are you calling for the rest of your folk? Oh, I can hear them. They're off into the distance. That's where they are. This one's a bit eager. Bye-bye. No, I think the other babblers are going to come this way, so we will wait for them. I'm listening to them. They're coming ever so closer. Actually, there it is again. It's still just sitting there while we watch it. And I think that we're going to do a bit of birding now, I think. I'd like to do that this afternoon. And Aussie Bonnie, you were wondering what is my favorite bird? There you go. It's perfect in the center of the screen. You've got it just over there. I have so many Stop it now, babbler. Stop it. It's just on the edge of the sticks. And the rest of its family is going to come and join us just in a moment. There, just go to a little bit to the right. A little bit more. There we go, right on the edge. If you zoom in straight there where those branches are hanging down, it's jumping. If you go straight in, you've got it.
I don't really
just
try, so.
Zoom in the middle. Go straight in. Okay, go down. There we go, just bottom left-hand corner. Now it's there. It's just sitting on that stick, sort of halfway up. There, here, Sebastian, can I show you there? There it is. There. No, a little to the left. There we go. Straight. You've got it. There it is. You can just see it moving around. It's just sitting there. It's very camouflaged because it's behind those other sticks. Like I said, the others are going to come and join it. So, in terms of a favorite bird, I think my favorite bird has to be the secretary bird. I enjoy them. I haven't seen them in a very long time. I've had the privilege of only seeing them once in the last 2 years. Here we go. Here come the others. Look how excited it's getting. Calling. That's it, making that strange noise. The others have just landed below it and all in the trees around it, in the tamboti trees. Like I said, it got a little bit keen. It got a little bit too excited. It was really racing towards the water. But I like all birds, a matter of fact. Even something like a arrow-marked babbler. They give us quite a hard time in camp, which is really funny. They're coming through, raiding all the kitchen. If we leave the kitchen sliding door open, then they go in there and they peck at things. They can be a real nuisance. They're always chasing the hornbills around and the Cape Glossy starlings. I actually really like the Cape Glossy starlings too, particularly when they're in big groups and they come down to a mud wallow and sort of bathe in the water. That's one of my favorite things to see. But it isn't, of course, just our friends, the babblers here. I thought they were going to all stand together and do like a little territorial dispute, but apparently not. Now I want to angle the car slightly different because our Heron is still around, but I also want to show you this hippo. So I'm going to turn the car like this without driving over the edge of the damn wall. Yeah. And then that way, if I slide over, you can see the hippo. And just one hippo. We were discussing how the others have now moved out and gone somewhere else. They haven't been here since yesterday, and I did check in all the areas, all the corners of Buffelshoek Dam. But buddy, you've lost your friends. They've moved elsewhere. Perhaps they've gone all the way back to Chitwa. Maybe they've moved into Torchwood or even into Buffelshoek, into some of the greater dams that are in those areas. But he doesn't look like he's in the mood to go anywhere. He's fast asleep. His eyes barely opening. Nostrils just above the surface of the water so he can breathe. And he's not even twitching his ears. Yes, we're talking about you, mister. But again, I don't think this is a particularly old hippo. I think he's relatively young. And he's enjoying probably just having a little rest. And eventually, once he's big and strong enough, he'll be able to go into those areas like Chitwa Dam to go and fend for himself and find him a pod of females. But if we go right into the far corner, you can see that there's a grey heron too, which is also fishing. He's just all the way down there. Around the corner, you can just see him. There he is. That's the grey heron that we saw yesterday. So he's still here trying his luck fishing, so it can't be a particularly bad spot, and that looks like a very good pool. I think we'll sit here for a little bit longer. Maybe we can see if we can get closer to the heron. Ellie, however, is having a day filled with elephants, and I'm sure she's having lots of fun.
Lots of fun indeed. It seems like we've managed to find them down in the drainage line where everything is a bit greener and softer for them to eat, so I'm pretty sure that's why they're all down here. They can enjoy food that's probably a bit yummier for them. I can't really see how many there are around, but I'm pretty sure there's a number of them. As I can see branches, or rather than see, I can hear lots of branches being broken and snapped not too far from where we are. I'm sure maybe we are in presence of a group or different groups of elephants that could know each other, but they've all come into this particular area with their smaller family groups. And that's what they've decided to do for the afternoon. Come and say hello to everyone else. Rishikesh, you'd like to know how elephants and their babies survive? Hey! What are you doing? What you doing? Be nice. Sorry, Rishikesh, you were wondering how they survived in the rain. Well, they normally, if it rains way too much, they will try to avoid areas like the one where we're parking now. Where... Hey! Enough now. Put that trunk down and be nice. Thank you. And they will try to avoid areas like this one just because, or river areas, because it might build up a bit of the current for the little ones. And if they're too tiny, it might be hard for them to just move around. But in general, elephants are not too bothered by the rain. They'll just become a lot darker, and sometimes they will actually enjoy the rain and just playing around in it. But I think a lot of the times they are okay. When there's a lot of lightning and very horrible thunderstorms, and they might get a bit nervous, and then they might not like, oh, are you scratching? And they might not particularly like that, and that's where they will become a bit edgy, maybe going into areas where it's a bit more sheltered. But hello, are you hiding underneath the trees? I think he's scratching its back. Oh well, this youngster carries on entertaining us and hopefully being nice to us and scratching pretty much every part on its body. Let's go to Taylor, who's also enjoying the company of an African big one.